June 22nd, 2025. The air inside the Paycom Center is electric. Thunder blue lights pulse. Thousands of fans stand in disbelief. Tears in their eyes, hearts pounding. The buzzer sounds. Final score, 103-91. The Oklahoma City Thunder are champions of the NBA. It's more than a win. It's a full-circle moment. From heartbreaks to rebuilds, from losing superstars to trusting the process, Oklahoma finally has its crown. 16 years after leaving Seattle, 17 years after being reborn in a new city, the Larry O'Brien Trophy is no longer a dream. It's real. It's home. The youngest team in the league, the boldest, the most relentless, they just made history on their own terms. Smash that like button if you watched Game 7 live. Let us know in the comments, where were you when history was made? It started in October. Quiet confidence. A team no one was ready for. And by April, the league had no answers. 68 wins, just 14 losses. The best record in the NBA. But this wasn't just about numbers. This was a statement. A storm sweeping through the league. They were the youngest team in contention, average age just 24, but they played like veterans, calm, focused, deadly. The Thunder locked down the top defensive rating, smothering opponents with suffocating rotations and relentless perimeter pressure. On offense, third best in the league, built around fluid ball movement, fearless attacks to the rim, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander slicing through defenses like poetry in motion. And then, the margin of victory, plus 12.9 per game. That's not just winning, that's historic domination. No team in NBA history had ever done it better. Not the Showtime Lakers, not the '96 Bulls, not the Warriors of 2017. Every night felt like a warning shot. Every blowout, a reminder the Thunder weren't coming, they were already here. Some players play the game, others redefine it. In 2025, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander didn't just shine, he transcended. He wasn't just Oklahoma City's leader, he was the league's North Star. MVP of the regular season, MVP of the NBA Finals, the top scorer in the entire league. 32.7 points per game. Night after night, defenders knew what was coming and still couldn't stop him. But Shai's greatness wasn't just in his stats, it was in the way he moved. Every dribble had rhythm, every step had purpose. He'd glide past defenders with that signature hesitation, then explode, a blur in motion, finishing at the rim with finesse or burying the mid-range like a surgeon. And in clutch moments, the game slowed down for him. His vision, elite. His patience, deadly. And in Game 7, with everything on the line, he delivered. 29 points, 12 assists, total command. He wasn't just a player. He was a conductor, orchestrating the biggest performance of his life in front of a roaring home crowd. Legends are made in June. And in June 2025, Shai became one. Not a star in the making, a superstar made. Superstars win headlines, rosters win championships, and this Thunder roster, it grew up together, it bled together, and finally, it rose together. Because it wasn't just Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, it was Chet Holmgren, once called a fragile unicorn, now a playoff beast. The 7-footer who came back from injury with vengeance in his eyes, swatting shots, stretching the floor, and showing why Oklahoma City Thunder never lost faith. It was Jalen Williams, calm under pressure, explosive when needed. A two-way force, always in the right place, always ready to rise when the lights got brighter. Then came Alex Caruso, the defensive bulldog with a championship pedigree. The hustle, the grit, the strips, the steals, the clutch threes. He wasn't flashy, but he was fearless. Then came Cason Wallace, just a rookie, but already playing like a veteran. Unshakable, smart, always locked in. And Isaiah Hartenstein, the enforcer off the bench, physical, reliable, the kind of presence every contender needs when the paint gets crowded and the whistles disappear. Together, they weren't just a collection of young talent. They were a machine, synchronized, selfless, and relentless. And at the controls stood head coach Mark Daigneault, the architect behind the rise. Still just 39, Daigneault turned raw potential into a championship puzzle, managing minutes, egos, matchups, and moments with surgical precision. He didn't coach them like kids. He coached them like champions. And now, they are. The regular season made them contenders, but the playoffs made them champions. First came Memphis, a team built on toughness, on swagger, but in Game 1, that toughness shattered. Final score 131-80, the largest blowout in Game 1 in NBA playoff history. The Thunder didn't just win, they sent a message. Then, the real war, the defending champs Denver Nuggets. Nikola Jokic, Murray Jamal, the mountain to crime. 7 games of blood, sweat, and sheer willpower. Game 7 was a crucible. Every possession felt like life or death. And when the final buzzer echoed, it was Oklahoma City Thunder who stood tall. Not just with skill, but with heart. Next up, Minnesota. Anthony Edwards, Rudy Gobert, Karl Anthony Towns. A team that believed it was their year. But the Thunder, they had other plans. 4 dominant wins, 1 tough loss, series over in 5. Chet Holmgren came alive. Jalen Williams took over. It wasn't just victory, it was authority. And then, the final challenge. Indiana Pacers, the Eastern Conference's rising storm. Tyrese Halliburton's vision, Pascal Siakam's muscle, Miles Turner's rim protection. They pushed Oklahoma City Thunder to the edge. Game 7, a battle for the crown. But that's a story worthy of its own chapter. Can you name all of the Thunder's playoff opponents this year? And in order? Comment the full bracket down below and prove you're part of Thunder Nation. It was the perfect storm. 2 of the youngest and hungriest teams in the league. 2 visions of the future colliding under the brightest lights. On one side, the Indiana Pacers. Young, fast, explosive, led by the genius of Tyrese Halliburton, the grit of Pascal Siakam, and a deep rotation that never stopped running. On the other side, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Poised, powerful, disciplined. A team that didn't just react, they calculated. That didn't panic, they prepared. Every game was a chess match. Every quarter, a war of adjustments. Both teams won at home. Both teams took punches and punched back. And then, Game 7. The moment everything led to. The building, deafening. The stakes, immense. But just minutes into the first quarter, fate intervened. Tyrese Halliburton, Indiana's engine, their maestro, went down with a devastating Achilles injury. The air changed, the game tilted. The Thunder saw their moment, and they took it. Led by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's calm brilliance, and with every role player stepping up, Oklahoma City Thunder began to separate. They built the lead in the third. They broke Indiana's spirit in the fourth. Jalen Williams attacked. Chet Holmgren defended the rim like a fortress. Caruso hit clutch threes. Wallace locked down the perimeter. And when the clock hit 0, 103-91, the confetti fell. The crowd roared. And Oklahoma City, at last, stood at the top of the basketball world. From the pain of Seattle to the promise of a new era, they did it. They made history. This wasn't just a win. It was a release. A sigh 17 years in the making. Because ever since 2008, when the franchise left Seattle and the Supersonics name faded into history,
The Oklahoma City Thunder have been chasing identity, chasing respect, chasing redemption. They came close. Remember 2012? Durant, Westbrook, Harden? The young trio that lit up the league. They danced their way to the finals, only to be humbled by LeBron James and the Miami Heat. Then came heartbreak. James Harden traded, Kevin Durant's MVP campaign, then his exit to the Golden State, Russell Westbrook's triple-doubles, and his lonely farewell. Through it all, the Thunder stayed patient. Sam Presti didn't panic. He planned, he built, he believed. And year by year, piece by piece, the vision took shape. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander arrived in silence and became a superstar. Jalen Williams grew into a clutch two-way weapon. Chet Holmgren defied the critics. And role players became warriors. So when the buzzer sounded in Game 7, when confetti fell and the trophy was raised, it wasn't just a celebration. It was redemption. For every heartbreak, for every doubter, for every fan who stayed. The confetti hasn't even settled, and already the whispers are turning into declarations. This team, this young, fearless, battle-tested team, might not just be champions. They might be the beginning of something bigger. Let's look at the numbers. Average age, just 25. 13 first-round picks secured through 2032. A core locked into long-term deals. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is 26, already an MVP, already a finals hero. Jalen Williams is 24 and growing with every game. Chet Holmgren, just 23, already an elite defender and floor spacer. And add to that the leadership of Mark Daigneault, one of the sharpest young coaches in the league, and a front office led by Sam Presti, the architect of multiple rebuilds, multiple stars, and now a championship roster. The comparison to the 2015 Warriors, it's not just fan hype. The parallels are real. Young core, elite defense, efficient, unselfish offense, a breakout MVP. And just like Golden State back then, OKC Thunder still has room to grow. Cap space, draft capital, player development. This isn't the end. It's the ignition. The Thunder didn't buy their way to the top. They earned it. Slowly, deliberately, relentlessly. And now, the question isn't whether they'll stay on top. The question is, how long can they hold the throne? Because this feels like the start of a dynasty. Is this the next NBA dynasty in the making? Vote in the poll on screen. And tell us in the comments, can OKC Thunder go back-to-back next season or even three-peat? History was made, but not by the usual suspects, not by super teams, not by max contract mercenaries chasing rings. No, this was different. This was built, earned, forged over time.
The Oklahoma City Thunder didn't just win the NBA title. They redefined how greatness is achieved in the modern league. They did it their way. Young, fearless, united. With a roster no one expected to be ready and a chemistry no one could replicate. At the center of it all, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's not just the leader of the Thunder. He's now the new face of the NBA. From overlooked to overachiever. From next up to best now. And as the final buzzer echoed through the Paycom Center, that building, once just another arena in a small market, became sacred ground, championship ground. A cathedral of belief, resilience, and the long game finally paying off. For the fans, for the city, for every player who bought in, this is the beginning. A new chapter is being written, and it's wearing blue, white, and orange. This is Thunder basketball, and the future might already be here. If this story inspired you, if you believe in building through the draft, in patience, in youth, then like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment like this again. And tell us below, how many rings will this Thunder team win in the next 10 years?